Well, you can finally hang on to it. Wait till it rains a little.
That's what, don't just lick your fingers instead?
No, wait till spring, Dan, and then grab it.
With that, it's my pleasure.
Good to see you.
We'll go ahead and get started with the candidates. Ninth portion, there is a select board meeting that follows. You're invited to stay and watch that fun as well. We'll start and have the candidates introduce themselves, a brief introduction, why you're running, what position you're running for. We have a single seat on the select board and a single seat on the school board, and 2 candidates running for each of those single seats. So we'll start here, work our way down the table, and then we'll open it up for questions from the audience.
Of course, you had to start with me.
Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kayla Hughes. I am a West Bath parent as well as an active member in our community. I apologize in advance. I did take some notes today. I'm super nervous. I've been really nervous for this night for a really long time. I'm not going to pretend to be a polished politician by any means. I'm just a community member who truly cares about our kids and our schools, and I want to make a difference. So I want to make sure I can clearly tell you my thoughts. So I think that sticking to my script is probably the best. I wanted to share with you, though, before I left the house tonight, I was kind of pacing around and talking with my 12-year-old about, reasons for running for school board and why that's important for our community. And he looked at me and he said, "Mom, you don't need to be nervous. Like, just pretend you're talking to me." And I find that to be a super unique perspective because you know what? I am talking to him. I'm talking to him, talking to his peers, his teachers, his community members. So all of those reasons are exactly why I'm up here tonight and why I'm so nervous. So with that said, I decided to run for school board because I want to make a meaningful impact on the future of our students and our schools. I believe strong schools are the heart of a strong community, and every decision that we make at the board level has the power to open doors or to close them for children. I want to help make sure that those doors stay wide open, open to opportunity, open to belonging, and open to every child's potential. For me, it's not just about the politics. It's about kids, not just my own, but every student in our district. My priorities are clear. Number 1, communication, making sure families feel heard and included in decisions. Number 2, student well-being, supporting mental health, extracurricular activities, and safe, positive school environments. And number 3, excellence for all, ensuring every student, whether they need extra support or an extra challenge, has what they need to succeed. And I'm running lastly because I want to leave a positive mark on our schools. That means helping create an environment where teachers feel supported, families feel connected, and students know they belong. I may not have all of the answers, but I will always listen, learn, and lead with fairness. My goal is simple: to help build a district where we can be proud of, one where every student feels seen, valued, and prepared for their future. Our school is the foundation of this community, and I believe in the potential. I believe in our teachers, our families, and most of all, our students. And I would be honored to earn your vote and serve on our school board.
I'm going to run some notes. My name is Andrew Giovinazzi. I lived in West Bath for 10 years. I've lived in Maine for 19 years. In my former life, I was a floor trader, like Trading Places Guys, if you saw that movie. Currently, I'm the director of education for a online education firm, a financial publishing firm. I've been teaching for probably 30 years, about 2 years after I walked on a trading floor. Right now, as I've gotten older, I'm looking around and I'm concerned, I guess, about the direction of education here at the town level. I'd like to be more involved and see how it's going, how our tax dollars are being spent. And that's essentially why I'm running. Other than that, I would like your vote, and I guess that's the short answer.
really know I'm being short, I'm short my whole life.
Hi, Stan Andreessen. I'm running for my third year as a select board member. I very much enjoyed the time I've spent helping the town move forward. We went through our challenges with revaluation and have come out finally, I believe, on the other side. I think we've had our last abatement, or hopefully some of the several last abatements that we've had to go through. What I would like to see in the future, and it's actually tied to the education platform, I'm concerned that West Bath is labeled a minimum receivership. I'm in the process of achieving a certified main assessing certification to try and help our town get more than the 6% and a bigger cut of our 55% that's been essentially allocated to every town except for those in the minimum receivership. I don't believe we belong there, and I believe between my education in real estate and achieving my certification as a main assessor, I will do my best to make sure the town gets some, if not all, of our 55% that's owed to us. Certainly that would, if we got the full 55%, I'm guessing we'd be somewhere of a reduction of 3 mills, which would be terribly significant for our town to reduce our costs at no deficit to any program that we have. So I believe that's really important, but I'd like to keep what we've started moving forward. We've got a great town. We've had some changes that have really put us on the right path, and I think it's terrific, and I would love to have your vote.
My name is,
No, it's okay.
my name is Carly Perry. I'm running for Select Board. Some of you may recognize me. I was the town clerk in West Bath for 8 years, and for about 40 years before that, I grew up in West Bath. This was my hometown. My family still lives here. I have friends here, and that's why I'm running. It was a really hard decision to move away from being town clerk, and I miss the interaction with the residents, and I look forward to the opportunity to be able to represent them. I don't have a lot of my own goals for the select board. It's more just to hear what the town wants and to represent the town. I think that's really important, and the select board's doing a great job, and I just want to lend my hand in it. I work for the county now, so I see the full side of the county, which I know is a big spending point for the town. Those services, the problems that we as a community face every day with law enforcement and first response, as well as just the administrative side of things and how expensive it is to run not just a town but the county. So looking forward to getting your vote.
You can all clap.
Thank you all. Questions from the board?
I have a question. This is for Andrew. So you mentioned that you had some concerns about the direction of education in West Bath, and then following that you specifically referenced from like a taxpayer perspective. So can you explain if your concerns are quality of education driven or fiscally driven?
Well, I can say both. First, it's quality of education, what we're getting for the money we're spending. I think that's at 59% of the current tax bill, I believe. If we're getting as much out of the money we're spending, and that's, I think, the biggest concern. You know, I teach adults, I don't teach kids, you know. So, from what I've seen, I thought the test scores and things have fallen off recently, unless I saw the data wrong. And, you know, per pupil, I thought the number was relatively high. And are we getting the most out of the money that we're spending? So looking at curriculum, what the kids are learning, you know, how it's being presented, all of those things. Something I just have to dig into and take a look at. But first is, are the kids getting the most out of the money that we're spending? I think that would be the number one priority.
And are you familiar with the EL model that they're currently using at the school?
I'm not familiar with it. I help homeschool my kids, so I mean I have some idea how to, you know, get kids through. But I'm not familiar with any of the models that they're using or what they're doing. It's just something I have to look at if obviously, if I get this position. Prior to that, I didn't have a lot of need to do it, but obviously that's something I would do if I get there.
And maybe to ease the concerns a little bit, prior to maybe potentially being on the board, I just would also say that in conjunction with test scores, I think it's important to also realize that the EL model that we follow, it's a very robust and comprehensive credentialing process that our school works really hard to achieve on a regular basis. So it is an interesting model, and I would really encourage you to look into that a little bit more. Thank you.
Okay.
Kayla, has some of your kids go through West Bath School? What are your thoughts on how they did in reference to grades and advancement?
Yeah, so actually I am lucky enough to, I'm not from West Bath. I actually grew up and went to school in Topsom. I married my husband, and he is the one who actually brought me to this community, and I'm so thankful for that. I've lived here for 6 years. My kids have gone through West Bath School, and now they are in Bath Middle School. And I have to tell you, from seeing schools in Topsom to seeing schools here in West Bath, I completely fell in love with that little school. Their EL model that Ashley talks about is the most amazing things. My kids were able to go outside and pick vegetables from the garden and then come in and provide that to the cafeteria workers, and they were making spaghetti sauce with tomatoes. Like, things like that are just incredible. I think that standardized testing is only one way to really measure how students are learning. Some students are not big test takers, and mine are definitely one of those. I also think that, for me, I kind of want to understand sort of what our bigger struggles are from a school board standpoint, and once I understand what those struggles are, I want to be able to kind of work together with our community and our teachers and staff to help fix those problems.
Thank you.
Somebody had their hand up.
I don't want to take your...
I think you self-regulate. Yes.
Andrew, what was the name of the company that you worked for on online education?
Optionpit.com? Still do, optionpit.com.
Option
Optionpit,
Fit.
optionpit.com.
Yeah.
That's good.
Roger, you had your hand up.
Yeah, Andrew, did you say you homeschooled your kids?
Yes, my wife did, I helped. I was a helper.
Okay. What led to your decision to do that rather than go to public school?
Well, they actually went to St. John's first for a while. And it got to the point where my wife spent more time going to St. John's trying to figure out what's going on than, relative to the education I guess they were getting. And she just thought, well, I'm going to give it a try. Already my sister-in-law homeschooled and worked well. She did send her kids to West Bath School. It didn't work out for them. That was the reason, quite simply. And they're in college, and one's about to go to college. She does have a learning disability. She has dyslexia, so taking standardized tests, I know that's not the 100% for sure, because she gets good grades, but she struggles in the tests. So it's not the only thing you got to look for sure. So another, I have a special needs nephew who's been trying to figure out how to get in or use the current school system. I think he's a little too off the spectrum actually to go to school, but that's the reason why I actually couldn't find a solution, for us at the public schools. And so far it's worked out, but again, looking at the level of the school and trying to improve for the kids that are there, that's what I'm most interested in doing. And then again, digging in to see how that can work.
More questions, I know there are. We should.
I got one. I'm interested in the two candidates for the board, their views on the town's relationship with the public, the patent-free library.
It's a mixed message for the town, to be honest. Some people want it, some people don't. And I intentionally forced a vote to let the people speak, which is really what democracy is about. I didn't stop it. I made sure it was put up to vote so that the people could be heard and they were able to voice their opinion, which is really a democratic society. And I think that went well.
Do you remember the results of that vote? It was 99 to 10
And something like that,
in
yes.
favor of the library.
Yeah.
Carla?
I grew up with going to the library, so obviously I have a special place in my heart for it, and I know a lot of residents are really passionate about preserving it. I do like that the school gets to use it, and I know that if we were not to support the library, they wouldn't be able to take field trips there. I don't know how many field trips they take. I do have issues with the transparency of the library. I've not been super involved in the board and whatnot, but I do know that it's been a struggle to get answers on how many people are using it. I do think the library tends to protect those numbers, and I understand it to a degree, but as a town that's putting a lot of money into it, I think we need more answers. So at the end of the day, I'm with Suzanne. The vote should go to the town. I'm not sure, it doesn't sound like, it sounds like it almost didn't make it to town meeting this year, and I think it's important that it is left up to the voters at the end of the day, so.
Thanks.
Come on.
No other questions?
To both of you, what do you see as the greatest challenge facing West Bath and how would you address it?
I think the biggest challenge is balance. You've got an aging population on a fixed income that wants to keep taxes low, and you have a young community and community coming from other areas that expect and want services. So I think that's just balance is the biggest struggle, and that's not a new problem. It's just what everyone faces.
And it is. I look at, and that's, my largest objective when I'm reelected is to move forward and understand why we are a minimal receivership. I don't believe, which means, if for those of you know, they consider us a rich community. We don't have a center street. I think we've got the largest per capita car repair shop per town in the city. But I think that, but I look at, how can we better utilize the revenues that we have? If we can get our 55% reimbursement from the state, think of what we can do with that town. One, we can certainly reduce some of the taxes, but also there's things that we can do that are necessary. I'm trying to balance it. We do have a significantly aging population, which are those who reach out to me concerned about the cost, which include the library, which is why I wanted to put it up for a vote. I wasn't against it. I wanted the people to be able to respond to that. And I think it's important that we answer the needs of every citizen the best we can. You're never going to be able to, please everybody. You do your best. And I think that if we can find a way, I'd love to see the state, and I know, Allison, you've worked on this on our behalf, and I truly appreciate it, to see the state reevaluate their minimum receivership program, because it doesn't seem to be fair and equitable, which is really the premise behind taxation in the state or in the country. And I think, and certainly that's one of the questions on my exam I've seen here already, so I've taken it once. And so I think that it's important that we address, how to protect our citizens, how to make sure everyone gets food. We went up 60% year-over-year need on the food pantry. So our citizens have concerns. How can we meet them and make sure that they feel, when they put their head on the pillow every evening, they feel safe and secure? And so that's really what my goal is.
Question for you, Suzanne. At that select board meeting when the warrant was being discussed, I asked you, what discussion, you're not going to let the town vote on this library? And you said no.
Did I let the town vote on it?
You told me no.
Did I let the town vote on it? I said I wanted to make sure that we were going to have a policy put in place that allowed the town to have their voice.
And I said, you mean you won't let the town vote on this at town meeting? And you said no.
And I said, no, David, was it on the warrant?
Yes, after a while, but you said no. And asked,
You did try to keep it off the warrant, Suzanne.
I just wanted to clarify,
I could have kept it off the warrant.
You did.
No, I didn't. I could have. I did not. I made sure that it was put to a vote. And we wrote the language for that. Had I said no, it would not have been, it would have been a tie vote, it would have been on the warrant. I did not do that.
well, it probably would have been on the warrant, because it probably would have been a petition to put it on the warrant.
I chose not to do that.
Yeah, but there would have been a petition to put it on. Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Other questions?
Kayla, your kids have gone through West Bath School. What did you think of the faculty and the principal of the school in terms of their ability to deliver?
I've actually made personal relationships with many of the staff members at West Bath School. My son was in the Thompson School District, and I know we were talking earlier about